Impact of COVID-19 on free media in Nigeria. Coronavirus, an infectious disease which has ravaged many countries, was first discovered in Wuhan, China in December 2019 with over 1 million deaths. In Nigeria, the first index case was announced in February 2020, and by March, the federal government announced a total lockdown of 3 major cities to curb the spread of the virus. This stalled lots of activities and operations in the media sector within Nigeria and outside. With this development, journalists in Nigeria had to battle with poor internet connection, inconsistent power supply, and every other issue that comes with working from home and attending virtual meetings. Journalists are burdened with the task of providing accurate and reliable information, keeping their readers informed and up to date as activities unfold during the pandemic. This documentary highlights the challenges and impacts of COVID-19 on journalists and how they have effectively carried out their tasks during this period. This campaign is sponsored by Free Press Unlimited in collaboration with Dubawa, Nigeria's first indigenous and independent verification and fact-checking project, an initiative of the Premium Time Center for Investigative Journalism, PTCIJ.
My name is Arit Efa. I am a reporter with Core TV News. I also present programs here at the office. 2020 has been a very interesting year for me because of the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Before now, I'm one journalist who loves to go on the field. I love to go into rural areas, visit IDP camps, and do special reports from the human perspective, find out how events around the world within my community, especially Abuja where I'm based, how it affects the ordinary Nigerian. But with the outbreak of COVID-19, I have not been able to go out as much out as I would have loved to do, considering the issue of social distancing and trying to stay safe, because I believe that when I stay safe, I stay alive, then I can actually work. And so it has really restricted my movement. It has restricted my interactions with people. But because I still want to get the job done, I have been able to devise some means of getting my job done. And one of the things that has really helped me has been a series of trainings that I have had before the outbreak of COVID-19. And this has been, one of them has been being able to use Google Mole, reverse image search, so that I do not necessarily have to go on the field. I could just call somebody and ask the person to please get so and so video for me. And when the video comes back, I could check back to be sure that the video sent to me is authentic. And also, I've reduced the number of people who go out with me. And so if I need to go out for an assignment, probably going to an interior place to get first-hand information on a report I'm doing, I just have myself and my camera. Rather than the one-on-one interactions I've always had with respondents, I've taken a step on teaching them on how to record proper videos that I can use and then send to me. Also, I've improved my use of online tools in getting my reports done. I've improved on my research, because before now, I really used to rely on having to go to offices, especially when I have to deal with government functionaries, having to go to their offices for interviews and all of that. But because of the current situation we find ourselves in, so many government functionaries would give it the excuse of the COVID-19 pandemic, not to be able to meet with you, grant you that interview. And so I've had to go online, do more researches, get documents that are verifiable to get my reports done. Although it's been really challenging getting work done, but it's not been impossible.
My name is Nathaniel Bevan. I am Arts and Entertainment Editor for Daily Trust newspaper. Basically, my work involves me attending festivals, and aside press conferences, I'm always in large gatherings, so those gatherings weren't there anymore, and I had to source for news, any way possible. And basically, this meant the internet, the internet became a place where I had to I always had to be in front of my computer to know what's happening. So there was no, for example, Ake Festival to attend, Kaba Fest, even though by that time some of those events hadn't come, but some of all those other gatherings I was used to, I couldn't be present. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, I would say I used less of Skype and Zoom, to get content for my pages. But right now, that's basically what I rely on, because I don't attend events the way I used to. We started having some press conferences on Zoom, of course interviews on Zoom too, and subsequently some events like the launch of a book on Zoom. Okay, I'm trying to get used to, I've gotten used to the mask thing, so I think I've blended in because I have all the tools I need. There's 24 hours of internet in the office. For a journalist like me, life went on. Another aspect is my personal life. Coming to work, I was one of those who had to still come to the office instead of working at home. So it wasn't easy. I drove alone. Sometimes I was like the only person driving on the road. So it wasn't easy. And my thought was, what if my car breaks down? There were no mechanics. I couldn't just call up my mechanic, because I had to use my ID to get through checkpoints. In a way, it has made work easy for me. There's less risk of moving from one place to the other. Even though as a journalist, I would say I miss moving around a lot, because it comes with the territory. We enjoy it. We like to travel. It's no longer there. But it's fine. We are coping.
My name is Wumi Obabori. I work with Dark Communications PLC, AIT News precisely. I have the judiciary desk. The COVID-19 has affected reportorial during the lockdown. There were story drought and reduction of population in courts is also something that we have to deal with. First of all, the fear of contacting the virus is also a major issue that we have to deal with, because we have to put up all the necessary measures for our protection. And with this, we getting in contact with people like we used to be have to really reduce. Then with the story, getting the stories, most courts are not sitting, having the normal sitting. Rather, they have virtual sitting, and this also affected the repertoire. And in most cases, we have to come up with story ideas on our own in order to meet up with the expectation.
My name is Chibuzo Okezie. I am a judicial correspondent and also the new and digital media desk of AIT. During the pandemic, we had story droughts in the courts because most of the courts were not seated. Some of the cases were not filed, and this is as a result of the pandemic. During these periods, we didn't have much sittings in court because the judges refused to sit as a result of following the COVID-19 principle guidelines, which was laid down. In terms of going about our duties, it was hard because we were trying as much as possible to stay safe. We were trying as much as possible not to get infected, and also ensure that yes, we don't even endanger other people. In terms of reportorial, it was very, very hard to actually get stories out there. Being able to meet up with the necessary things that we need to use or the necessary things that we need to do in order to get the story out there. So I think the pandemic actually slowed things down. But right now, since the lifting of the lockdown, we have been able to, the courts do sit these days, cases have been filed, processes been go on and all that. So I think so far, COVID-19 really had a very negative impact in the line of our duty. And it was very, very hard for us to carry out our activities the way they were supposed to be carried out.
Hello, I'm Aisha Babatunde. I'm a journalist with Premium Times Nigeria. I cover the arts and diaspora bits. So I'll be sharing my experience about how COVID-19 has impacted my work as a journalist. At first, it was really hard adjusting to the new normal. And then there's a lockdown restriction. And then apart from that, working from home was not that easy. There are the issues of lack of electricity, poor internet connection, and then inability to move out to pursue some human interest stories. That has to do with COVID-19 also. Despite having internet connection problem, I had to buy several SIM cards, new SIM cards, to get the right internet connection. When the challenge came up, I had to hop up my game, and then I knew I had many things to do. So I left my home to come to the office while others had not resumed, and to continue with my work because I could not really work from home. There were days I went on without submitting any stories. So it was really traumatic for me for not having this mind that I wasn't delivering much as it was expected. So I had to come up with the idea of going to the office and then using the internet at the office to work and to explore new story areas that I had never explored before.
My name is Silas Jonathan Silas, fact checker with Dubawa, Nigeria, the #1 fact-checking organization in Nigeria. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected my work in both positive and negative way. Positively, it has given me more time with myself to kind of study and then read ineptly researches and other works in the field of fact-checking. But so also, negatively, it has affected my work because fact-checking is about facts. And then when you can't access facts physically, go out to offices or organizations to get facts, it becomes very, very difficult to do that because at some point movement was halted and then nobody could go anywhere. So it really made that part of my work very difficult, and sometimes I have to reach out to organizations via phone call. And then the response is sometimes very lame, or at some point the emails are not even returned. So I have to say that it's quite taxing, and then in that angle it made the work even more difficult. And then I did cope with that in a lot number of ways. First of all, I had to form a special calendar and how to deal with my task, because working in the office environment usually gives one the feeling and of the atmosphere of working and task and all, but then have to work at home, close to your bed. Sometimes you're tempted to sleep and other things. So I had to form calendars, and then I had to learn how to discipline myself to it and then see how I could forge around. But then entirely, it was quite a good experience because it entirely changed my perspective about work entirely. Yes, so my home became an office, and office became somewhere I really wanted to go because I missed it a lot.